Are you? Well, my dear students, today let's see the lesson Resources and Development, class 10. First, you must know what is the meaning and types of resources. Here you see everything on the earth that is useful and necessary for man's existence on this planet is referred to as a resource. Also, all natural and man-made substances that have the capacity to fulfill human needs and satisfy human wants are termed as resources. However, my dear students, to sum up, all elements of the environment that are necessary or useful for survival on the earth can be considered as resources. Remember, the things who are called resource must be technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. Economically feasible means likely. Technologically accessible means readily available. Thus, the process of transformation of things available in our environment involves an interdependent relationship between the nature, technology, and institutions. Well, all of you know, earlier the resources were considered as the free gifts of nature. Am I right? But now resources are termed as the function of human activities. Human beings themselves are an essential component of resources and are termed as human resource. You, I, all are belongs to human resource. It is the most important resource because the use and the development of all other resources is determined by only human beings. Humans, with their intelligence, they transform natural occurring substances into usable resources. They interact with nature, utilizing their technology and for institutions. Resources are usable only when they have passed through a resource process. For example, iron. It cannot be put in its ore form. It must be mined and processed before can be used. It is important to realize here that an element of the environment does not become a resource just because it is there and perceived as being one. The test is its only uses. The use of resource also involves its depletion and disposal of its wastes. My dear students, here you can remember human beings interact with nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate their economic developments. However, resources for the purpose of study and understanding can be divided into different categories. For example, now you can note down also resources and its types. As to basis of origin is concerned, it is the source from where the resources have been obtained. They are biotic and abiotic resources. Who are biotic resources? These are obtained from the biosphere and have life in it. Say human beings, livestock, fisheries, forests, fossil fuels, etc. Dear students, question may arise. Livestock. What is livestock? They are the domesticated animals which are directly useful to us. Means they are the milch cattle. They are like goat, cow, buffalo, sheep are example of livestock. Similarly, abate resource, also called physical resource or non-living resources. They are composed of non-living things, maybe rocks, minerals, land, water, and so many you know better. Next category comes on the basis of exhaustibility. What are they? Renewable and non-renewable. You know since earlier classes these things. But here's something to add here. What? Renewable resources are the resources which can be renewed or reproduced. These resources or this reproduction takes place through physical, chemical, or mechanical processes. Say solar energy or wind energy, water, wildlife, forests, etc. You can give it. These can be further divided into continuous flow resources that are inexhaustible. Clear? These can be further divided into continuous flow resources that are inexhaustible. So, resources, renewable resources, also called reproduced resource, also called flow resource, continuous resource, inexhaustible resource. Clear? Similarly, non-renewable resource that take millions of years to form. They take millions of years to form. They occur over a long geological time. Minerals and fuels. These resources also recyclable, some are non-recyclable. But who are recyclable? Metals. And non-recyclable, they are fossil fuels. These resources, but remember, adjusted with use. Means non-renewable resources are adjustable resource. Renewable are inexhaustible. Renewable are inexhaustible continuous flow resource, whereas non-renewable are only exhaustible resource. They are some are recyclable, some are non-recyclable resources. I think you clear now. Next, classification on the basis of ownership is concerned. It may be yours, maybe ours, maybe of the government, maybe of the world. My saying is that individual, community, national, and international resource. Well, dear students, individual resource very easy to know. You are one, I am one. He is one, she is one. We are all individual. We say it is my bottle. It is my bottle. It is my pen. It is my home. It is my parents' property. It is my computer. It is my mobile. They all are individual issues. Here what happens? These are owned by privately individuals. Example you see land owned by farmers, wells, ponds, houses owned by individuals in rural areas, and plots, houses, and other property owned by individuals in urban areas, plantations, and pasture lands, also example of individual resources. I'm sure you are clear in individual resources. Here, you are only the sole authority of your own resource. Similarly, you will think about the community resource where all people can have the rights. Here, no one can say it is mine, it is yours. These are for the benefit of the entire community, society, group of people. Say your public parks, playgrounds, picnic spots, village ponds, grazing grounds, burial grounds, marketplaces, and so on. National resource. What are these? Name indicates national. Means technically all resources belong to the nation. All minerals, forests, wildlife, water, etc. owned by the nation itself. Oceans up to 12 nautical miles are a resource owned by the nation. Clear? Resource, that is ocean resource up to 12 nautical mile are a resource owned by the nation. The government empowers the urban development authorities to acquire land for public development. Say construction of roads, canals, railways, etc. Similarly, international resources. What are these? Some resources which are owned by international institutions. Here, no individual country can utilize oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles without the permission of international institutions. Who are international institutions here? United Nations, UN organizations. Exclusive economic zone comes here. It is what? Up to 200 nautical miles from the base shore line. From the coast or the shoreline up to 200 nautical miles distance, it is called economic exclusive zone or EEZ we can say. It belongs to open sea. India can mine manganese nodules from the bed of the Indian Ocean if they are found in the area beyond the exclusive economic zone, because it has acquired the right to mine it from international institutions. Clear? National resource is of a nation. International resource is of international authority, owned. Ocean belongs to national and belongs to international. But national is up to only 12 nautical miles. 1 nautical mile means 1872 meters approx. 1872 meters approx. Similarly, from baseline to shoreline to 200 nautical miles, it comes exclusive economic zone. It is of nation's property again. Beyond this economic zone, that is EEZ, is called international resource. I'm sure now you are clear. Next, dear students, again comes the classification on the basis of development. Here what comes? Potential, developed, stock, and reserve. Stock and reserve can be put in same category because They both are belongs to subparts and parts of it. So let's first see potential resource. These are the resources found in a region but not yet utilized. See Rajasthan. It have great potential of wind and solar energy, but it has not been developed properly. Only Madhapur in Gujarat developed in solar energy. Similarly, developed resources are those which are being developed with the use of technology according to their level of feasibility. These resources have been assessed and surveyed, and their quality and quantity has been determined for our utilization. Next comes stock. Our environment has certain reserves which can be utilized to satisfy human needs. Clear? Our environment has certain reserves which can be utilized to satisfy human needs, but humans do not have the technological know-how. Humans do not have the technological know-how to access and utilize such resources. These resources are considered as stock. For example, water is found in a compound state of hydrogen and oxygen, which are found abundant in the Earth's atmosphere and the Earth. But technically, procedure to use these gases to produce water for consumption are still not available. So still we fall in scarcity of water. We know the thing, water comes from hydrogen and oxygen, but you don't know how to convert these two gases, inflammable gases, into water. This is the stock. And next comes reserves. Here what happens? These are the resources which can be utilized with the help of technical know-how, but is being postponed for future use, called sustainable development. See the river, North Indian rivers, they are perennial rivers. We can harm the water, we can put in dams, and we can harness into hydel power, but we kept it for future generations. This is called reserves. Here I can give a small simple example to you. Suppose my income is 10 rupees per month. 4 rupees I am utilizing as 4 to 5 rupees I am utilizing as my developed resource. Means daily consumption I am keeping the money 5 rupees. And more 5 rupees I kept in as a side. From 5 rupees what I have done, 2 rupees I kept in my home for my potential use. I kept the 2 rupees but not yet utilized. Similarly, more 3 rupees remained. From 3 rupees what happens? I have used 2 rupees as stock. In emergency, in the necessity, I may withdraw. I may use that 2 rupees. More 1 rupee remain. I kept in near a bank, where necessity will come more than the stock, that 1 rupee can be utilized. Similarly here, my dear students, potential, developed, stock, reserves are belongs to status of development. Next you see, as a whole, resources can be classified into natural and man-made. Natural are renewable and non-renewable. Renewable are continuous or flow, and biological. Biological again divided into natural and wildlife. Non-renewable are recyclable, non-recyclable. Again, on the other hand, man-made resource you can say. They can say human-made resource. Structures and institutions. Say like dams, Niti Ayog, etc. are called human-made resource. On the other hand, also you can say quantity and quality also one of the human-made resource. Quantity and quality. In this way, we can classify the resources. All of you, thanks for watching this.